Hi, I'm Scott Fresener with U.S. Screen Print and Inkjet Technology. We're webcasting live from SGI 08 in beautiful downtown Atlanta. I'm with my good friend, longtime friend, my gosh, Mark Coudray. And I was thinking, I think we met at the Anaheim ISS show in 1979.
I'm thinking it was at least, it was probably around then.
When we all looked a little different.
Yeah.
I think I had a bigger, fuller beard. A little hair.
We both had hair.
We both had hair.
It wasn't gray.
No, I know. And
Our kids were tiny.
You were this guy that was just so energetic with just a lot of ideas. That probably hasn't changed.
Nope.
You're still the idea guy.
Yeah.
And we go back a long ways. So Mark and I are both on the members of the Academy of Screen Print Technology, and you've been on the board. You were the board chairman of SGI.
Award winners.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And tonight we'll see who the new ones are.
Yeah.
I hear rumors.
I haven't heard the rumors
well,
yet.
I won't say a word. Mum's the word. My lips are sealed. So we're here at SGI 08. We're going to talk about Mark and maybe find out some dirt on Mark, some sordid dark side. You're an engineer or an artist?
Well, I started off as an engineer, but when I was going through my engineering training, I realized that there was more potential in screen printing because of the diversity of the process than there ever was in drawing parts for airplanes.
Right.
So
but you have a degree.
I have a degree. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in essentially printing
I want to say Cal Poly, but
Cal
Poly.
Cal Poly Polytechnic University.
Okay.
So it's actually a Bachelor of Science degree and essentially what amounts to printing engineering. So it's the science of printing.
So you left college and said, oh, this is...
Well, actually what happened was I started my company when I was 19.
Okay.
And it was so successful while I was working at school part-time, like I was one of those kids that, I invested $200, used my parents' garage.
You were a garage printer?
I was a garage printer. I built my own press out of some Jiffy hinges and a transmission bearing.
There you go.
And I made 3 times what my father was making as an engineering geologist doing seismic studies
I like this,
out of the garage.
I know, that's funny.
So I changed my major from mechanical engineering to graphic communication.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Cal Poly because it was one of 2 schools in the country that offered a full Bachelor of Science degree in printing engineering. And I took all of my classes in technical areas like statistics and organic chemistry and the real heavy-duty stuff that has helped me in this industry, design, ink systems and all the mesh studies and everything. There was some science.
You've been a real numbers guy. I mean, a lot of us are probably maybe more marketers, but you've been the guy kind of saying, here's the numbers, here's the spreadsheet, and very, very impressive.
I've always been one of those individuals where if the math makes sense behind it, it's going to fly.
Yeah.
If the math fails at the front end, let's not go with it because it's going to get... it's not going to make it.
Yeah.
It's going to fall apart.
Now, when did you move into high-end printing? Because with your Jiffy hinges and your transmission bearing press.
Well, I took by the time I graduated, which was way back in 1977, I literally took my last final and I went to the bank and signed the papers on my first automatic. And at that time,
you went from garage Jiffy hinges to an automatic.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at that time,
let me guess. It was a multi-printer.
No, it was before multi-printers. It was a 6-color precision oval.
Oh, you have an oval?
Yeah. So I bought an oval. Wow. At that time, there was probably 30 or 40 of them in California.
Yeah.
We were one of the very first to automate, and we were absolutely one of the first people to automate doing stuff. We were doing 4-color process and halftone printing in 1972-73.
It was unheard of, really.
It was literally, people didn't even know what you were talking about.
Yeah, you're on the cutting edge.
I remember, in fact, at the first ISS show, I was doing a seminar in the old days when we get 700 people. Do you remember that?
Those were fun times.
Yeah, huge ballrooms full of people. And I was talking about 4-color process and halftone dots, and after the seminar was over, this good old boy comes up and he goes, well, first of all, we can print 3 colors, and we never printed 4. And second of all, what's this dot y'all are talking about?
Yeah, I know. It was a crazy time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so different.
Yeah, we had some great stories.
Of course, then the prints were still not what they are today. I mean, it was still lots of simple stuff.
The inks, the ink systems weren't in place. Everybody was still using multi-filament and silk, actually, at that time.
Yeah.
The photo systems weren't there. None of the high-tech stuff existed. Color separations were ungodly expensive because
it was all offset stuff.
It was still offset
didn't work.
Stuff, right? Yeah, and they didn't understand the differences. So we spent many, many years refining the process. Even with me, with a formal degree in printing technology, it was a very challenging situation to work through just how crude it was.
You were really, I think, a pioneer there. And of course, as time went on, you had the Nakona boots, and you were like, everybody go, how the hell did he do that?
We were the first ones to use a white printer.
Right.
We were the first ones to create an underbase that was selective. We were the first ones to create multi-channel separations.
Right.
We had the first software package that was available digitally in 1993. You know, so it's all this stuff is, you know, traditionally for us, we've always been technical and we've always been ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And, you know, you mentioned, you know, I've been the numbers guy, I haven't been a marketing guy. That's really been an issue for us, is that coming forward with technology without having that marketing synergy behind it has always been a challenge. People don't understand what we do.
Making money, so you can make it look really great.
Right. So we make it look really great and then try and figure out how to make money with it afterwards.
Yeah, I'm talking, you know,
typical engineer.
Yeah, yeah, definitely so. Now, you became the poster child, I think, for Don Newman, for Newman Roller.
Right.
I mean, maybe they don't look at it that way, but you were the guy that said, hey, what, you know, we can't use staples and we can't use silk anymore.
Well, we did the original studies, the original technical measurements.
You did, because in all the Newman literature, there was.
High tension mesh as we know it today came about as a result of our studies on mesh behavior in 1981, 1982.
Was that long ago?
We took literally 15,000 individual readings on screens, and we created the profiles that showed what was happening to polyester under tension over time. And that became the basis for all of the low elongation meshes and the low modulus meshes that are in use today.
It was the standard. Today. I mean, you bought Newman Rollers. You got the chart, and it said this and this and this and this and this, and that all came from you.
Right. And we did all the production runs. We were just, you know, ridiculously analytical about everything that we did. We took, you know, hourly readings on production speeds.
Are you an anal guy, or what's your birth sign? Can I ask?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. I would have thought maybe Virgo.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think it's probably from my father. He was a real analytical kind of person. But I enjoy watching things and seeing. I'm an observer of life. So when I see things happening, I want to know why they work.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it came from.
So how many articles do you think you've written?
Over 300. I actually keep track of them. The last time I counted, it was like 315 or something.
And some of them are written in like WordPerfect, and like,
I've got them in versions that you can't open.
I know. I have some of the same things.
Yeah, I think in fact the very first ones I wrote, I don't think we even had it in WordPerfect.
I think we typed them
on a typewriter.
Some Selectric somewhere.
In fact, I threw away my Selectric this last week.
Oh, that must have hurt a whole lot.
No, it didn't. I hurt my back actually.
Yeah, probably so. You've probably given thousands of seminars around the world.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you've spoken probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a few of us that have been in the business like yourself and like myself. And I still have a printing company that I started when I was 19.
Yeah.
We had our 35th anniversary this year in July. And, you know, in NAFTA, when NAFTA came in 1990, all of my major accounts like Disney and Nike and Adidas and all those guys, they went offshore. But what they did is, as they exited the country, they said, well, we want you to come along and teach us how to do this. We're taking your work, but we'll pay you to teach the guys that are going to do our work how to do it.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden I became a real consultant, and our company shrank down in size and became basically an incubator for the last 15 years. And up until 9/11, I was gone every week someplace in the world, practically.
Now, you have spent months. I mean, I know you probably can't say some names because you're under NDA, but who can you name that you can think of?
Well, we helped Haynes redesign the Beefy T in 1994 to what it is today. We helped oversee Olympic production in Atlanta for them.
Right.
I rebuilt factories for Champion.
The Champion was a big deal.
When Champion was still producing here in the United States.
Right.
Most of the big consulting projects that I've done have been with companies that have 500, 700, 1,000, 2,000 employees.
Yeah.
So they tend to be really, really big. They're not so much the small operations. They tend to be the really
large. And you go in for
ones.
a few weeks or a month or an ongoing.
Yeah, the longest time that I had two projects that were really long. One was 21 months. That was for Champion. And then I did a recent one for Fortune Fashions. That was 11
I just didn't know if you could say that or not. But
for Fortune Fashions.
So did you rent up an apartment in downtown LA?
Yeah, I did. I rented an apartment in Long Beach, actually right across the Long Beach Convention Center.
Oh, hell.
It was great. I walked across the street. It was wonderful.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that time there because it gave me an opportunity to, really see something through and see things work and see the implementation of them through other people's eyes and hands.
Yeah.
So
you still do NetSeps. You were an innovator in separations, and then you sold software. I sell software. You know, they found out sometimes customers don't want to pay for software because it's a here and there deal. You know.
Right. So we put NetSeps up, and actually it was one of the very first e-commerce applications in our industry in 1999.
Yeah.
So we were online in